Why do they call him Ashy Larry? Well, there's your answer.
Yeah, his time on the Chappelle show as Ashy Larry is memorable, but he got his start as a heckler turned comedian.
I'm ruthless. When I go in, I'm ruthless. My mother came to one of my shows, and this guy tried to heckle me, and I went on this dude so hard. My mother jumped out of her seat, grabbed me, and said, "Leave him alone, baby. Stop it."
You've seen him multiple places because this guy works hard.
Good day's work. Good day's work.
Giving us an inside look on his life and career.
Oh, I see what's going on up in here.
Comedian and actor Donnell Rawlings on The Pulse.
You got questions, I got answers. It's all good.
We're back to do it again like we do every week, talking about the people who are doing things. They're touring, they're making differences, they're sharing their lives with us. And today's guests are all over TV and the comedy circuit and a podcast, and started off before the recording started already taking shots at me.
I didn't take a shot. I said, "I'm sorry about your Super Bowl loss." That's what I said. I said, "But you got your money this year. You got your bag. And good luck next year." That's what I said. I didn't disrespect you. I just wanted to say it's hard to get to the Super Bowl, and you did it, man.
You hater. Donnell Rawlings.
That's not a hater. That's a congratulator. A lot of people, you know how many kids on the playground in the Little League wish to get to a position where they could quarterback a team and then quarterback a news show? Like, you multitasking, bro.
Now we're going to have to put up on the screen the picture of me and Jalen Hurts with the side-by-side so people can tweet us and see the comparison. Welcome to The Pulse.
Thanks for having me, man.
That's how we're going to start.
Yeah, that's how we're going to start. And Jalen, you look good with a tie, man. I'm used to seeing you with shoulder pads and stuff, but you look good with a tie, man.
I wish I had his check, man. The negotiation that's about to happen.
Yeah, and the choice of color, is that powder blue? That is not gangster, but is it powder blue? I'm just saying, I mess with BMF, and I've never seen anybody from BMF wear powder blue. But go ahead. I mean, not to disrespect your gangster. We know what it is.
All right, so we're jumping right into this. Let's start. I was reading a little bit about about your background. I mean, you've been doing this for a minute. How'd you get into comedy? What was your first start?
I never thought about doing stand-up. And when I was in D.C., I was waiting to be a D.C. police officer, and I used to work security for this grocery chain called Safeway. And there's a guy, friend of mine, he used to work for Hostess in the daytime. He was a comedian at night, and he would come to the store, give away free tickets. So myself and a lot of people that I work with, we started going to this open mic, and I became a heckler. I was just destroying, roasting professional comedians of like 4 or 5 years. And people started coming to hear me roast. The owner wanted me to shut up. They dared me to go on stage. And 30 years later, I never looked back.
So you were calling out the comedians on the stage from the audience, and that became your show. Like, people were coming to see you.
I started drawing a crowd, and I was so excited about being a heckler. I went to the club owner and said, "Listen, you see I've increased your business by 30%. Now it's time to talk about a door deal." I was trying to get a door deal. I wasn't an open micer. I wasn't a comedian. But I knew that I had increased the business there, and that's some kind of a funny story. They look back and say, "You're the first person in comedy to try to get a door deal without even performing on stage."
I feel like that's on the comedians who were on stage, because I can't imagine somebody making a career out of trying to insult you from the audience.
I was good. I mean, the pros used to come up to me and be like, "Yo, I'm trying to work on some material. Could you please leave me alone?" Like, they was like intimidated because I used to shut it down. But when I got into it and I started doing it for myself, I kind of felt bad. Because I know how much pressure it is to try to engage your audience and keep them laughing and to be distracted by anything. I mean, I was like, oh, man. But that was my past, and in my future, I was like, if a heckler comes at me, it's going to be two things going to happen. You're going to either offer me a drink or you're going to want to fight. That's the only thing, because I'm ruthless. When I go in, I'm ruthless. I mean, I've seen people at news desks loosen up their ties and decide that they want to wear different colored shirts messing with me, bro. Congratulations on getting to the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh. So that feels like a warning. Like, I need to leave you alone and conduct the interview. That we don't want to go down that path, right?
I know you got it in you, because when I went at you, you said, "Oh, this what we doing?" Like, and you rolled your sleeves up too. So I'm not going to disrespect your skills.
Quick story. My father used to work in radio. And the radio station did a comedy routine. They sponsored a comedy routine, and Eddie Murphy was there. And his time was up. And so they were sending people to try to get him off the stage.
Oh, wow. Right.
And you can imagine how that went. He went in on my dad, went in on the crowd, on security.
You got an Eddie Murphy story. Mine is worse. My father used to date this chick, and then they went to New York on a trip, and this was like Eddie Murphy Raw days and everything. And Eddie Murphy stole one of my father's chicks back in the day. So he hated Eddie Murphy.
My first experience, I think my first experience, I go back to The Wire, back to the Chappelle show. You know, when you got into this early on, do you ever think you'd be sitting back talking about a 30-year successful career?
Me, when I first started, you know, a lot of people that come into it, they want to be rich, they want to be famous and everything. And when I first started, my first focus was, I said I wanted to be good. And I realized if I'm good at it, eventually all those other things will start to pay off. But never did I ever think that this would be something that I would be doing for the rest of my life. But the minute I hit the stage, I knew it was what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. And I never looked back, never gave myself a plan B, never made any excuses. And until this day, I've got a certain level of success, but, you know, I really love the fact that every year I figure out a different way to go to the next level, or how to be funnier, or do something with my show, or even my life, to keep challenging myself and go to the next level. And after 30 years, I still have fun.
You seem like you're having fun, though. So that comes through. When going at people and going back and forth, you just seem like you're enjoying this. I'd imagine you couldn't work this hard if you didn't still love it.
I know some people work, they work as hard of it, but they not passionate about what it is. You know, some people, they work hard because they built their brand and their name up to a certain point where when you put their name on the marquee, they can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. That doesn't mean that they still passionate about being good. You know, I won't say any names, but there's guys out here that people have been watching for years, won't change their routine, won't do anything different. And I call them guys that just do money grabs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be successful in this and not enjoy it. But I can honestly say I still enjoy it.
Coming up next, he's most known as Ashy Larry from the Chappelle show. So does that bother him?
In this business, it's so hard for people to remember you from anything. So the fact that, you know, you associate me with an iconic character that made television history, you know, I don't get mad at that.
Ashy Larry, Marcy Projects. Marcy, son, what? Come on, bro. You need this. What you need is some chapstick and a set of trousers.
So is it fun, or does it get to the point where you go in on people when they're still pulling out the Ashy Larry?
I mean, it's just fun. I mean, people like, oh, you get sick of people calling you that. In this business, it's so hard for people to remember you from anything. So the fact that, you know, you associate me with an iconic character that made television history, you know, I don't get mad at that. You know, I embrace it, and I realize, like, you know, you people know you for one thing until you do the next thing. And then when you do the next thing, they'll know you from that, and they'll continue to know you. But, you know, I have fun with it. And I play with people. I roast, but I'm never like with any ill will or maliciously trying to like ruin you or ruin your day. It's just all in fun. And I keep a smile on my face, and people playful with it, you know?
It is. When I talk to the different comedians, because again, I mentioned to you, I talked to Michael Blackson, Monique was on the show, Jeff Ross was just here, and we had people coming through. I don't think people realize, I didn't realize how much y'all grind. Like, even the successful people on TV shows and Chappelle show, and you're on BMF, like, you're touring, what, 100 nights a year? Like, you're always on the road.
If you look at my career, I never had no body of work in acting that could sustain a lifestyle. It's always been, okay, you got a guest spot here. You know what I mean? You got a guest spot here. But I've never been of like the series regulars on, let's say, like Blackish or anything. I never made that money. My money is like, it's on the streets. It is the grind. And it's one of the reasons why I don't, some people, you hear about cancel culture, but it's hard to cancel somebody that's accepted by their peers. You know, you got a fan base, you know what I mean? It's always willing to be like, oh, I'll put my money to go see him. And as much as I do love it, but it's the only way that I can create right now. It's the only way I can create a lifestyle for myself. I got to go out on the road and I got to go get it. And I love what I do too. So it's like a combination of both. You know, sometimes the road gets a little grueling because, you know, it's less time I get to spend with my son, you know, but I also know that I got to make sacrifices now to better his future and do what's going to be best for him.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned your son, and I'm having fun in the discussion, but your son's on your social media. You talk about your son whenever you get a chance. You put out there how important your son is to you and the sacrifices you make to spend that time. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you so visible about the relationship with your son?
Because my father, relationship I had with my dad, and I love my dad. He passed away 4 years ago. You know, he was a guy of the streets, had a lot of girlfriends and everything. He had a lot of kids. And he chose a lifestyle that probably wouldn't give him the opportunity to spend all the quality time with his kids. It was that or being incarcerated. And I, like, to this day, I probably got 10, like, really solid memories of things that I've done or experienced with my father. And I said, me having a kid, especially later in life, I said, this dude is just going to be an overflow of memories, you know? And I mean, my thing is like giving him, creating opportunities to make memories for a lifetime with him. And then some people are like, well, and I think it's good for other dads to see that bond that a guy has with his kid. Because some people are in crazy situations where they're not in their kid, which I can't stand. Somebody to have a kid and not in their kid's life. And I think, you know, you see my Instagram and see how I rock, it might inspire some other dads to like want to be more involved and understand the importance of creating those memories with those kids.
I wanted to talk about that, and I appreciate you sharing it because I think that message is important. And I do think that people need to see it.
Not only that, but you hear like the stories that's always promoted, especially with a lot of black dads and black families, like, y'all ain't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't, or you. So if you're going to promote that, why not promote the ones? And I know there's a lot of people around me that are dope dads and they don't get the credit that they deserve. And it's like, you could also say, you don't need no credit for being a good dad. You should just be a good dad. Okay, but if you're going to dog all these people out all the time, right, you want to highlight the deadbeats, then highlight the ones that give it the same amount of time and give it the same platform.
Next, they may be small roles, but Donnell Rawlings' roles are always memorable.
Whenever I work, I've been lucky enough to be a part of something that's pops in pop culture that's just hot.
So what, you want me to hurry up and do a f***ed up job, or do you want me to take my time and get it right? Relax, it's almost done. See, hard part is over. That wasn't bad.
So you're on BMF.
Right.
What's that been like?
I'm not an actor. I'm a comedian that gets to play acting every once in a while. For the most part, anything that I get, whether it be film or TV, it's because somebody was a huge fan. I worked with them before, but put me in an audition room, I just don't nail it. And I was on season 1. My friend Tasha Smith, who directed a lot of the episodes last year and who's a power player in this business, she just called me one day. I was like, yo, I got this. Well, she used some choice words to describe me, right? But it was all like brother-sister love, right? And she's like, I got this role for you, blah, 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 blah. I was in the season finale last year. Randy Huggins, who is the showrunner, co-creator, and a lot of these stories come from his brain. He fell in love with the character. In season 2, they gave it, started as 3 episodes, and then they just kept adding episodes to where I think I was in 9 out of the 10 episodes. And it was fun. Whenever I work, I've been lucky enough to be a part of something that's pops in pop culture that's just hot. HBO's The Corner was hot. The Wire was hot.
Yeah.
The Chappelle show was hot. I've always been able to get these little gigs, whether I'm in there for 1 or 2 scenes, be it doing something that's a part of history. And the streets have spoken, and they really, really love BMF.
Yeah.
They love it.
They're taking it seriously. They're taking your role seriously.
Yo, the next person that's talking about, I just came home. I'm like, I didn't even know you was gone, bro. I'm not in BMF for real. I play a character on TV. But it's been a fun ride to be able to, because for so long, like everybody referenced like Ashy Larry, but to go out and people like, yo, you be on that show, and I'm like, what, Chappelle show? And they like BMF. It feels good knowing that I was part of another body of work that people connect with.
You're on tour, but Philly, the 6th, 7th, and 8th of April. What are people going to get when they come see your show at Helium here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I've been doing this club for years. If you've been following my career as a stand-up, and I know some people that just got introduced to me, but if you've been following me as a stand-up, you know, pound for pound, I'm one of the funny guys to perform. And I'm not saying it in a cocky way. I take a lot of pride in it. I'm not, that prideful when it comes to acting. I hardly ever know what I'm doing in that. But stand-up is like, if you see my show before, when I come back around, there's always something different. You're gonna get the same energy. You're gonna get somebody that doesn't subscribe to cancel culture. I'm not gonna be like crazy about anything, but you just get like some real comedy, and it's a feel good vibe. It's a nice, well-rounded show. And I also like to keep myself open to engage the audience where maybe something special happens away from what I had planned.
So people, don't heckle you from the crowd.
I mean, you got to pick your poison. That's what you want to do. I'm just telling you, I don't stop. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time my mother came to one of my shows, and this guy tried to heckle me. And I went on this dude so hard. My mother jumped out of her seat, grabbed me and said, "Leave him alone, baby. Stop it. Stop it." She said, "Stop it. Enough is enough." I was like, "Let me go, Mom." She was like, "Enough is enough."
Coming up after the break.
I got to end this with this, and your producer can do whatever he wants to do with it, but I got to end by saying.
Any guesses what classic line he just couldn't wait to deliver?
You can tell when a brother's about to abuse a race car because they start their sentences off like this. "Oh, I see what's going on up in here. Let me get a burger, large fries, ketchup. Sorry, sir, we're all out of ketchup. Oh, I see what's going on up in here."
I saw a clip that was interesting to me when you were talking about Dave Chappelle.
I know you're serious about your questions.
Right.
Whenever a black man takes their hand and put it like that, like you just did,
right?
They try to bring home a point, man. That is like, okay, and you say that is a very arrogant finger stance you got there, bro.
Yo, you know what you just called me out on? That was my smooth way of looking down at my notepad that's right here on the table.
I'm sorry. I see it.
I didn't want everybody to know I had questions written down on the table.
You got questions, I got answers. It's all good.
All right, I'm not going to do that. So,
no problem.
Into the next question. I saw you
my hands
talking
really
about...
are ashy. My hands really are ashy.
A little bit.
Whoa.
That's all right.
All right. What were you saying?
I saw you talking about Dave Chappelle's testing moment and how people have testing moments where you kind of find out what they're all about. I didn't have the context of the question, but that was interesting to me.
Me being aligned with Dave, and still get the question like, is he the GOAT? Mm-hmm. And as a very competitive comic, you probably say to yourself sometimes, well, it's been nights that I've been funny or whatever, right? It's been nights that I've thought I've had a different performance, but it's not too often that you, a person, and it's a lot of things like have a Muhammad Ali moment. And what I mean by that is a moment where, you have to stand for something. You know what I mean? Like you got your integrity, you got your morals, your beliefs, and it's a possibility that what you stand for may cause you financial pain, physical pain. It could cost you something, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that that's one of the reasons why people really got super connected with Dave, because he had a moment in his career where he had to stand for something. A lot of people thought it was like nuts. Why would you walk away from that amount of money? And people that never seen that my money or had those conversations, they don't understand it. The average person's working a 9 to 5, like, how could you walk away from 50 mil? Well, if you experience money, you can walk away from 50 mil if you know somebody's making 300 or half a bill off of that. And that's a situation of knowing what your worth is.
We end the Pulse with a concept called use your voice for good. Means different things to different people. But that's how we like to end the show. When you hear use your voice for good, what's it mean to you?
Make people laugh, make people feel good, use my voice for an escape. You know what I'm saying? Like Dave said something I always remember. He said, it's our job as comedians to make fun of the things that are troubling the world. So I want to use my voice to make people feel better in trying times of needs, and time when you really need an escape. That's what I'm going to use my voice for.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you taking this
I
much time.
I got to end this with this, and your producer can do whatever he wants to do with it, but I got to end by saying, I'm rich.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for your time, Jalen. Good luck this season.
I feel like I got off easy. Like all he did was talk about my outfit, my resemblance to Jalen Hurts. A little bit of this. I do this. I notoriously talk with my hands. But he was fun. I appreciate him sharing his experiences, but also the information about him, his relationship with his son, the touring. It was fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Remember, you can hear the entire discussion all places where podcasts are available. Hit subscribe so you get a notification every Monday when a new Pulse comes out. Also, hit up YouTube. There are episodes that you may not have seen, some really cool guests that I think you will enjoy. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I leave you as I always do, reminding you that whenever you can, use your voice for good, and have a good one.